Hey CrossFit Huntsville, here's your home WOD for Saturday, April the 4th. It's going to start with some running, and you can obviously scale this to a row or a bike if you have those available to you, or you could do a fast walk. But it's going to be 3 times 400-meter run every 3 minutes on the minute. The idea there is you're going to run as hard as you can, your 400 meters, and then you'll get to rest the remainder of the 3 minutes, and you'll repeat that for 3 cycles. Now, you may or may not have 400 meters mapped out to where you know the distance. And if not, you can use just time on this one, right? So you can just run out and back to a certain spot that takes you maybe about 1 minute, 45 seconds for your first time, and then match that distance each time every 3 minutes on the minute. Or you may just choose to run for 2 minutes and then rest for 1 minute and do that for 3 rounds. Either of those would be a great way to approach this first section. Then you can have some rest in between, just like we would in a regular class, maybe 5 to 7 minutes of transition time before you start your workout. Your workout's going to be 4 time with a 20-minute time cap. It's a pretty long chipper. It's going to start with 40 sumo deadlift high pull, then 40 weighted squats, 40 shoulder to overhead, 40 single arm rows on the right and the left, 40 weighted lunges, 40 hang cleans or Russian swings, just depending on the equipment you have available, 40 V-ups or sit-ups, and then it's going to finish with a 400-meter run, or again, 2-minute run if you don't know the distance, or go back up to whatever you ran here, out and back the same distance you did in the beginning. So lots of different movements here, lots of different things to go over. So let's look at the movements and talk about different ways that you can do each one depending on the equipment that you have. All right, this chipper has 7 different movements that you're going to be doing 40 repetitions of each movement, and then you'll end with a 400-meter run or a 2-minute run, depending on if you know the distance that you've got mapped out. So let's go through each of these movements and talk about different ways to do them based on the equipment that you have. Your first movement is the sumo deadlift high pull. Of course, that can be done with a barbell, just like we would always normally do in class with a barbell, lifting it until it's below the chin and above the collarbone with the elbows high and outside. I can do that same movement with a kettlebell, with a dumbbell, or with a household item. Just a reminder what that looks like. Starts on the ground. I pull it all the way till it comes below the chin, but above my collarbone, back down with those elbows high and outside. The next one's going to be a weighted squat. And you probably can use whatever weight you're going to use for your sumo deadlift high pull for the squat. So if I'm going to sumo deadlift high pull my kettlebell, I could just do a goblet squat for my weighted squat. Same thing with the barbell. If I'm going to sumo deadlift high pull my barbell, I could do a front squat. Or if I don't have an item, a weighted item that would work, I can grab any household item. I could sumo deadlift high pull that item, and I could also use it, hold it in the front rack, and do a weighted squat as well. The next movement's going to be shoulder to overhead. And again, you may want to use the same weight, or you may need to switch it up a little bit. I'll grab this dumbbell just to remind you on a shoulder to overhead, we can use any way to get the object from the shoulder to the overhead position. So I could do a push press, I could do a push jerk if needed. If I have a dumbbell, I could do a single arm. I could also just do it holding both hands like that. So lots of different options there and different weights you can use. Next, we've got a single arm row. So I could do that with a dumbbell or kettlebell, doing the reps on one arm and then the other. Remember what that looks like? I just pull until it's all the way up and then back down to full extension. I could also do that with a barbell. So I could even do a bent over row where I get set here and I pull to my chest and then fully extend at the bottom. Next, we've got weighted lunges. Now, lunges are tough for a lot of people. So the first scaling option here would be to just do them without weight. Do a body weight lunge, alternating, making sure you step up and out, lightly tapping the back knee. If lunges don't work for you, you can switch this to a squat. But we already are squatting in this. So another great scale would be a step up. With or without weight, you could step up. It doesn't have to be very high. Then I could grab my kettlebell, my dumbbell, and do that step up just the same. Next, we've got hang cleans. Now with your hang clean, you've got a couple options. If I have a barbell, that's great, right? If I have a dumbbell, that's great too. I can still do that hang clean just like that. I can even do it with my kettlebell. But if I'm not quite comfortable because the kettlebell clean is a little bit more advanced movement, or I don't have an object that's perfect for that, I could do a Russian swing instead. So maybe with my kettlebell, instead of doing those one-arm cleans, because it's a little awkward, I could just do a Russian swing, where I'm going to take it just above eye level, full extension of the arms at the top, and remember the kettlebell should be like an extension of your fingers. I can, of course, swing something like this as well, getting the same stimulus, just like that. All right, next we've got either V-ups or sit-ups, right? So that just depends on your ability and which one you'd rather do. There are 40 reps. I've taken a towel and rolled it up, but of course if you have an ab mat, you can use that as well. If you plan to do the sit-up variation, you just go all the way down, touch behind your head, touch your toes at the top. If I'm gonna do the V-up, I just lay all the way down. I'm gonna come up, touch my hands and feet at the top, and then lay back down on each rep. And then you're gonna finish with that 2-minute run or 400 meters if you know where that is mapped out. If not, just a hard 2-minute run to finish off the workout. You've got your workout, let's talk about how to warm yourself up. You're gonna wanna start with 10 minutes of some general stretching and definitely a light jog, walk, row, or bike, depending on what you plan to do for those 400-meter repeats in the beginning of the WOD. Then you'll go through one round of 12 sumo bootstraps, 3 cycles of Spider-Man on the left and the right, 6 alternating Cossack squats, 6 air squats, 6 alternating lunges, 6 push-ups, 6 sit-ups, and then 6 deadlifts with your WOD weight. Then you're gonna activate with one round of 4 reps of each of the exercises in the workout with the weights that you're going to use. And you're gonna wanna do those in order. The activator will not only help you get ready for the WOD, it'll help you remember the order of the movements so that you can move smoothly through the workout. After about 10 minutes of some general stretching and a light jog, we'll go through one round of the following movements. We're gonna start with some sumo-style bootstraps. So just like our traditional bootstraps that we do often in class, we'll do the same thing with a sumo stance. Taking your legs out wide, driving your knees out as you go down, touching the ground, keeping that back nice and flat. Next, Spider-Man on each side, and you'll do 3 cycles. Remember, in Spider-Man, we're gonna get all the way down into a deep lunge, drive our front knee out, take your elbow down as far as you can, and then twist and reach up to the sky. 3 cycles on one side, then 3 on the other. Next, alternating Cossack squats. I'll take my legs out nice and wide, keeping my heel rooted in the ground, squat down as low as I can, and alternate back and forth. From there, we'll go into some air squats. We've got weighted squats in the WOD, so we want to make sure our squat is nice and warm, driving those knees out, keeping our chest tall, keeping the weight in our heels, and making sure we're getting full range of motion. If you plan on doing lunges in the workout, next you would do some alternating lunges, stepping up and out. If you switch that in for step-ups, of course you could do a few step-ups there instead. Then we've got some push-ups, just from a plank position or from your knees, just warming up that push. And then we'd roll right over into some sit-ups. I'll grab my towel here, like an ab mat, just making sure we're nice and warm for our sit-ups or V-ups that'll come in the workout. And then finally, we'll finish with some deadlifts with your WOD weight. So it's gonna be a light deadlift because it's a weight that you're gonna be sumo deadlift high pulling, maybe taking overhead or doing a hang clean. But we'll just do a couple deadlifts with that weight, just to get nice and warm and ready for the WOD. All right, you've got your warm-up, you've got an activator, and you've got 2 parts to your WOD today. So a great WOD. Hope you have a great Saturday. Get after it and let us know how it goes.